Hi there. So, I'm so excited to take us through a very restorative, very gentle, slow moving yoga practice today. So, all you need is a mat, and we're going to take it nice and easy. So, I'm going to get on mine. I will invite you to find a lying down position. And so, the position that I might suggest is a reclined butterfly pose where we're laying down and the soles of the feet come together, allowing the knees to open up wide. So we might fidget around a little bit and squish around and find a place that's comfortable so that we can find our breath. And I love to bring one hand to my heart area, one hand to my belly area, so that we can actually physically feel the breath moving through the body too. So once we're in our place, we can start to find that deeper breath. So drawing in a deeper, longer inhale through the nose. Maybe we sigh out the mouth this first couple rounds. Yeah, I love a good sigh. We can feel free to make some sound. I'm home alone, or if you're practicing at home too, yeah, feel free to let some sound out, really allowing the body some moments to relax. And again, we can start to feel the breath. You might start to tune into those internal sensations as we draw in those longer, slower inhales, feeling breath travel in through the nose, down the throat. We can feel the chest rise up to meet our palm. And we might even feel the low belly start to rise up to meet our palm as well. And then we can follow its path back out. So allowing the belly to soften, chest to soften. Now let's just spend a few more moments riding this beautiful wave of breath, remembering that this is the most important part of our yoga practice, is staying connected to our breathing. That's our primary goal, and any movement is really secondary. And so let's just continue to take this gentle practice, one breath at a time. Really doing our best to stay present with the moment, the breath that we are in. Beautiful. Let's take maybe 5 more of our deepest breaths just to really get familiar with it. Allowing anything that has already happened today to sort of fade into the background just for now. And allowing anything that is still to come today to do the same, just to brush it aside temporarily so that we can really be here for this experience and be at our best, whatever it is we have going on later, taking care of ourselves first. Beautiful. So from here, why don't we just stretch those arms up overhead? Maybe wiggling through the fingers, getting nice and long. And then I will invite us to bring those hands behind our head. So elbows sort of mirroring those knees. We're resting back. We're allowing the elbows to drop open, stretching through the chest and shoulders. We're allowing the knees to get heavy, to open through those inner thighs, those hips. And just a few times with our breath, we're going to open and close those knees and elbows. So it can look like an inhale to draw elbows and knees together, maybe rounding through our chin. And then exhale to open back up. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale to open back up. How about 3 more like that, just at our own pace? And as always, you are free to go at your own pace. Listen to your breath more than matching my cueing. And you are welcome to take or leave any parts of this, skip it, make adjustments. This is your time. Wonderful. I'm not really counting. Sometimes I'm a bad counter. Let's do one more just for good measure. And then how about we squeeze at this top one? Release the bind of the head, find those knees. We can lay back down. And how about we just take some circles with those knees? Wonderful. Yeah, how about we switch direction? And really just allowing our breath to be our guide. How about we move the knees individually? So cupping those kneecaps and starting to circle them out and around away from each other. Really lubing up through those hip sockets, hip joints. And then let's take a few the other way. Our breath is such a powerful tool. It physiologically soothes our nervous system, even if we don't want it to, or we don't feel like it's helping, or I don't know, or the mind is still spinning. Our breath has power. It totally has control over our nervous system. It soothes us. So that's just one of the numerous benefits of taking these nice deep breaths. Let's squeeze both of those knees into our chest and then allow the right foot to come down. So we're going to keep that knee bent, squeezing that left knee in. And let's just start to circle around through the ankle a bit. You can point and flex that foot. You are welcome, by the way, to extend this right leg at any time if that's working better for you. My hamstrings are always a little tight, so in the beginning, I like to keep it bent. Wonderful. And then let's straighten that left leg. Maybe we reach around and find a thigh at this point and just start to kick it out a couple times. So we're just going to bend and straighten. Remembering that the breath matters most. Maybe we circle around through that lower half of our leg a couple times, both directions. Yeah, and then let's pause with that left leg extended straight to the sky. And again, we can always circle around through the ankle, wiggle the toes. At this point, you might see what it's like to extend that right leg if you haven't already. Ooh, it's going to intensify that hamstring stretch. No pressure. We do not have to do that. Yeah, we're going to spend another couple moments. These are bigger muscle groups that take just like a little bit longer to soften, to respond. And the deeper we breathe here, the more oxygen those muscles have, the more oxygen is flowing through our bloodstream, and it's going to help relieve any tension that we might be feeling in the leg. Awesome. So from here, we're going to bend that left knee enough so that we can try to reach for that pinky toe side of the foot. I like to take my right hand on my right hip just to remind it to sort of anchor down. Don't want to let it lift up to the side too much. This is a half-happy baby. So again, we can find a little rock, maybe side to side. I kind of like to pump my knee in and out, just kind of drawing it closer to the mat behind me, under my armpit sort of, and then straightening out. If you've ever been around a baby or have kids, you know that they do this. This is a natural movement. So being playful about it. And again, allowing some time. We might eventually find stillness. Speaking of babies and being a baby, I mean, isn't it just amazing that our breath, woo, losing my voice, our breath is with us from the moment we are born until the moment we leave. It is sometimes really the only constant thing that I can think of. Everything else around us is changing all the time. the nature of the world. Let's start to find our reclined pigeon pose here. So that shin that we have in our left hand, we're going to start to bring it in front of our chest. So I like, and again, we all have such different hip flexibility, so make this work for you. It might look like just kind of gently grabbing the front of that shin and pulling it in toward our chest. This is a beautiful place to work. Again, this leg can be bent or straight. If you have a little more room, and it's not better or worse, we all just got to find that place that's going to get us that good stretch. So we might kind of cradle our left foot in our right elbow and kind of cradle our left knee in our left elbow and hug the shin in this way. We're rocking a baby. Talking about babies a lot today already. Yeah, and I like to rock again, a little side to side. Just feels like a little bit of a soothing kind of movement. Oh, really intense for me to straighten out that right leg today. So I think I'm going to keep it bent, but you can certainly give that a try too. Oh, and finding those deep breaths. Knowing that this too will pass. We are not going to be in this pose forever. If you were just feeling so much intensity, right? Everything's changing. This is just one of the millions of things that are always changing. In fact, we're going to change right now. So we're going to once again allow that foot to move forward. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it already. And let's just hug that left knee into our chest. Go ahead and straighten out that right leg if you haven't already. Just as we continue to release that hip, start to draw that left knee right in line with that hip socket toward our chest. And from here, we're going to take a twist. We're going to grab that left knee with our right hand, open our left arm out to the side, and just draw that knee all the way over as far as we can. Gazing off our left shoulder. Allowing again the breath to help us soften, to relax into the floor beneath us. Continuing to experience each and every shape, just one breath at a time. Even within this one pose, we are changing, right? Maybe the very first moment of it is like, oh, the most intense. And then after a few rounds of breath, that's how quickly it can shift. We might notice we can soften and relax just a little bit more. Maybe that left shoulder relaxes down to the floor just a little bit more. How about one more breath, all the way in, all the way out. And then we're gonna rise back up through center. Amazing. We've got that whole flow on the other side. So whatever you need to do, I'm feeling like I wanna straighten my legs a little bit, grab behind both thighs. We might just take a big long stretch. Everything getting long, fingers to toes. Amazing, yes. And then from here, we're just gonna hug that right knee in. We're gonna grab for maybe the shin here, or we can always reach for behind the thigh. Again, we can start with that left knee bent. Let's just circle a little bit through that ankle. Pointing and flexing the foot. We can wiggle the toes. Get some good cracks. I don't know if you could hear that. And then let's start to kick that leg a couple of times, just bending and straightening slowly. Cool. And then we can hold it, this last one. Circle the ankle, wiggle the toes. maybe pausing in any places where we feel like a little extra tenderness, we could say, or tension perhaps. Sending some of those big, beautiful breaths to those places. I almost like to imagine it's like dusting, like dusting those cobwebs off. A little extra attention and time. All right, we ready for that half happy baby? We're gonna go ahead and bend that right knee in toward our chest. Reach around for that pinky toe side of the foot. Again, maybe anchoring down through that left hip. And just find a little playfulness here. Maybe that little rock side to side, or maybe we pump the knee in and out. Beautiful. We can always pause. Stillness can be a wonderful option too. And if the mind is still really active, if we do happen to notice we're in a place right now where it's just really hard to slow the thoughts down, it's really hard to push what's coming next out of our mind or what's already happened, that's okay too. We can just breathe some space around those things. And by breathing space around them, I mean allowing those thoughts to be there without getting caught up in them. Almost like we could just watch them, like, oh, yep, I'm having those thoughts again, or like I see another thought floating through my mind. It's okay. You can just notice them. Let's find that reclined pigeon. So again, we're kind of drawing that shin in more in line with our chest. We might grab onto that shin and draw it closer with our hands. Or if we have the room, we might cradle it in our arms like a baby. Oh man, straightening that other leg is just so intense for me. So let's find that breath. We got this. We can stay and hang in this moment as long as we are breathing. And speaking of like finding that deepest place that we personally can go, the breath is my favorite way and the most effective way to determine that. So if we find that we are in this reclined pigeon and we are gritting our teeth, we're holding our breath, it feels really short and shallow and tight, that might be a sign that we've gone too far, to back off a little bit and to find a way of doing this pose that allows for that breath to flow, that allows us to soften our face, to relax, even if it's feeling really intense. Amazing work, guys. Just a couple more moments here. Nice. All right, we can go ahead and let that foot slide forward. We're going to draw that knee one more time in line with the hip socket, kind of straight back toward our chest, our armpit area. And we're going to take the twist. So we're going to let that left hand grab onto that right knee as we open the other arm out like a wing, turning our face opposite that knee for our twist. Spoiler, we're going to sit up next. So maybe we're like feeling antsy about lying down for so long, or maybe we're just like absolutely loving it and we don't want to sit up next. So anyway, let's take a couple deep breaths more just to really be in this pose, this shape, one breath at a time. See what we can soften, maybe in the face or the jaw, the feet, the hands, maybe somewhere in the spine. Feels like it's gripping a little bit. See if you can just breathe into those places. Again, dusting off those cobwebs. let's go ahead and rock back through center. Once again, squeezing both of those knees in. We might rock and roll a little bit in our ball, side to side. And then the next place we're going to be is a seat. So you're going to rock and roll long ways on the spine. This is one of my favorite ways to get to a seat. We can even get some momentum going, really kind of rocking and rolling in our little ball. And then eventually the momentum might carry us up, or we can just use our hands to support ourselves in the seat. Wonderful. So once we arrive in our seat, why don't we just stretch through the neck a little bit? So how about we just turn and look over that left shoulder? Pause. See if we can relax shoulders away from the ears. See if we can sit up nice and tall, long through the spine, those belly muscles drawn gently in for support. And then let's turn and look over the opposite shoulder, right shoulder. Pausing again, enjoying a few rounds of breath. Nice. And we will turn our gaze back through center. And let's just drop the chin toward our chest. So looking down, allowing the head to be nice and heavy, feeling that nice stretch all along the back of our neck, shoulder blades, upper back. Yeah, letting the head get really heavy. Eventually on an inhale, let's lift the chin. Doesn't have to be super high. We don't have to like crank our head all the way back. So finding a place that's comfortable, but we're just opening the throat. Or again, allowing the shoulders to drop down and back. Beautiful. So how about a couple just side to side kind of rocks through the neck, the shoulders. Excellent. So remember that butterfly when we were lying down? We're going to find it again just by sliding those feet out in front of us. So soles of the feet come together. Let's take some cats and cows here. I love to grab my shins or my ankles for a little bit of support and leverage as I inhale, lift my gaze, arch through the spine, shoulders kind of squeeze together in the back. Maybe the sense that we're sort of rocking forward on our pelvis and then finding that cat back. We're rocking back on those sit bones now, straightening those arms, tucking chin to chest. And let's just flow through a few on our own, arching and rounding through the spine. Paying attention to that breath, allowing it to help us connect with ourselves in this moment, how we're feeling as we move from shape to shape. How about a few like circly kinds of movements in the spine here? Just kind of churning through our torso. Getting some interesting cracking. That feels like pretty good. Maybe you're experiencing that too. We can take a few the other way. And your head can be just like free to do whatever it feels like doing. Let's slide those palms out, maybe closer to the knees, and just dip the left shoulder down. We might turn and gaze off that right shoulder. And then we can take the right shoulder down, turning to look over the left. And you might do that a couple more times on our own, just back and forth. Nice. How about a little twist here? We're going to take that left hand sort of behind our hips, right hand to that left knee if we can reach it, or maybe it's higher on the thigh or on the ankle. And we're going to use that back arm to support us in lifting our spine nice and long as we turn and look over that left shoulder. Awesome. And then that right hand gripping the left knee, we're going to keep it there and just release the left arm from behind us, taking it up overhead for a nice side bend. How's that breath? Letting the left hand find the right side of our head as we release the right arm and take it straight out to the side. You can point and flex the wrist a little bit or make some circles through there. You might kind of find a little turn through the chin. Nice. Then we can come up through center, release that grasp, and take the twist to the other side. So left hand grabs right knee, right palm behind us for support. Easing off that right shoulder. How about one more round of breath, all the way in, all the way out. And then lifting that back arm up overhead. We can start to drape right hand on the side of our face, extending left arm out to the side, pointing and flexing, circling around through that wrist. Nice. And we can come through center. How about some shoulder shrugs? How are those hips? Are we ready to do something different with the legs? Alrighty, let's cross up those ankles and start to make our way onto hands and knees. So we're gonna find a tabletop pose. From here, we're gonna find a little bit of cat-cow action again. Just a couple times, arching and rounding with breath. Really nice opportunity to stretch through the wrists a little bit. I like to turn my fingers to the side and kind of shift side to side. Awesome. So let's find that neutral tabletop, and from here, let's lift that left leg behind us. Straight and strong. Again, paying attention to those core muscles, making sure they're awake, kind of drawing in and up. I love a good circle. I really can't get enough. You can't see my foot, but it's circling around, wiggling the toes. And then let's find a little rainbow action here. So we're gonna take that lifted leg and tap it outside our right leg. We can turn and look at it. We can check out our toes. We can look at our butt. And then we're gonna rainbow it out to the left. And I have a table in my way. I should have warned you that we need a little bit more space. So just tapping out as far as we can. I'm actually gonna turn and face you so that I have a little more room for what's coming next. So yeah, we can step out nice and wide. And then the next time we step that left foot out to the left, let's hang there guys are like really close now. Sorry. Yeah, and those left toes are gonna face forward. And from here, we might walk that right palm in a little bit as we inhale, lift that left arm to the sky. So it's straight up there, and my gaze is following, looking up at those left fingertips. You guessed it, I'm circling my wrist around. And we're breathing, letting every inhale open us up, open that heart to the sky. And then from here, let's wrap that left arm around our low back. It's just gonna drape behind us. We're gonna press into that right hand, engage the core to rise all the way up. So our left leg's out to the side, we're lifting up. I need a cameraman. There we go, beautiful. Yeah, so we're just leaning back into that left arm for support. We could be even twisting a little bit to the left, gazing off that left shoulder, just for another moment or two. And then let's unwind that arm, start to slide it down our left leg, really leaning over to the left. Keeping that tailbone kind of tucked underneath us. Again, core is engaged to support our low back. And almost like a cartwheel, we're gonna circle those arms up and allow the right palm to come down now, out to the right. So yeah, left arm is in the sky again. We could take some nice big delicious circles with this arm. Again, like we're peeling our heart, our chest open to the sky. Sometimes it feels amazing, again, to wrap it around the low back. Whatever's feeling good here is lovely, so just exploring on your own. And then from here, we're gonna shift weight over to the right more, getting light in that left foot and toes. And if we can, let's see if we can balance. Let's see if we can lift it up. Maybe we bend that knee and reach around. See if we can catch the ankle or the toes, or maybe it's our calf or our pant leg, or whatever you can find. And there's a couple of ways to play here. If we draw that left heel like in toward our left butt cheek, we're gonna feel this more in the front of the thigh, in this quad area. And another way we can play is to kick that foot behind us. This will help us find a back bend, where the belly kind of bows out, arch through the back. Yeah, kicking that strong leg into our strong arm to enjoy a little back bend here. Nice, we can release that when we're ready. We can once again float that left arm to the sky, left leg comes down. Ta-da! We lift back up through center. And let's take those palms back down in front of us. So I'm gonna scooch my right knee out a little wider. And let's just start to rock a little bit forward and back. Should be feeling like some stuff in the left hip, inner thigh, groin area. So again, using breath as a gauge to determine the intensity at which we're moving. Some of us might want to come onto the forearms and find that same rock. Nice. And then when we're ready, we can rise back up onto those palms. Oh, sometimes it feels like I need a crane to slide that knee in. And we're gonna take the other side. So I'm just gonna pivot so that y'all can see. Maybe we're shaking it out a little bit at our table between sides, taking those cats and cows. And then the right leg is going to extend behind us. We can circle, move it around a bit. And then let's start to find those rainbows. So tapping over to the left, Sweeten it out to the right and a few times just like that, kind of following our foot with our eyes to stretch the neck, the spine. We're going to stand. We're going to stamp that foot over to the right. And then again, we might slide that left palm kind of more center under the chest as we lift right arm. Find a little circle. Wrapping that right arm around our low back. Pressing into that palm, using the core to lift up. Yeah, maybe I'll show you the back this time. So sliding those right fingertips down the right thigh towards the toes. Nice big juicy side bend, opening up the left side body here. Nice, like a cartwheel, we're going to plant the left palm down outside the left knee. Reach that right arm to the sky. And from here, we can find some of those circles. And we're circling wrist. Again, this is your time to use and explore however it is you want to. Maybe we can float that right foot. Notice what turns on when we do. And then again, reaching around. So you can grab ankle. And if we pull our heel in towards our butt and kind of move that leg back, we're going to get a nice, juicy quad stretch. And then the other option is to kick that foot into our hand and really allow it to open us into a back bend. Using our breath. I'm shaking. I know balance is a thing. You guys are doing amazing. Yeah, then we can release that by, once again, stepping out, rising up, and then lowering down. So I'm again going to shift that left knee out to the left, staying up high to start with. I'm just kind of finding that little rock forward and back. And if we want to, we can come onto our forearms. Possibly taking a couple moments in stillness. And then rising up, you can press into those palms. Start to slide that knee back in. Amazing work. We're back in our tabletop, where we can shake it out a little bit. Yeah, and then let's do this. Let's tuck the toes underneath us and start to find our hero's pose. So hero's pose just means sitting on the heels. When we tuck our toes underneath, so we're like on the balls of our feet, this is a very intense toe stretch, sole of the foot stretch. You might have been like noticing that already, like duh, I feel it, but this can be very, very intense for some of us. I personally love it. I think it feels good. But if it's too much, we can always untuck the toes and just sit straight back on the heels. So let's hang out here for another couple breaths if we can. It's February in Michigan. Our toes have been like gripping boots. So giving them a little bit of love. Very nice. Let's see if we can start to widen those knees a little bit. Just kind of walking them out. Maybe bringing palms in front of us and seeing if we can press ourselves back into a yoga squat. So I'm going to face you just so you can see. So ideally, your heels would come down to the mat. My hamstrings are really tight, like I said, and so my heels stay lifted, and that's okay. That seems to work for me, but yes, we're working those heels down towards the mat. Knees are wide. We're finding our balance, and maybe that means we need to keep fingertips out in front of us. That is totally cool. Maybe it means that we can start to find prayer hands. We might shift a little back and forth. Nice. Beautiful, guys. From here, let's go ahead and just find our seat. We can bring our hands behind us to support us. Once again, finding that cross-legged position. Maybe we rest our palms on our knees for a moment. Just a final couple stretches here before we take our rest. You guys are doing amazing. So from our crossed legs, let's just extend our left leg out to the side, keeping that right heel drawn in. We'll slide on down into a little side hamstring opener. Inhale, we can rise on up. We're just going to switch sides, drawing that left foot in, right leg out long, sliding that right hand down towards the toes, taking left arm up overhead. Inhale, coming back through center. Let's go ahead and lay back down. We made it, amazing work. So getting back centered on our mat, lie down, we can squeeze those knees in, maybe rock and roll a couple more times. How about a final twist? Let's open those arms wide, let those knees fall over to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale, knees through center. Let them fall over to the opposite side, turning their head the other direction. Ready, we can once again come up through center and just find a comfortable position to rest. You might bring soles of the feet together one last time, or maybe we just extend everything long. And all of that attention we were paying to our breath, let's feel free to let that go. One more together. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Taking about a minute in our rest. Starting to reconnect to our mind, inviting it back to this moment. We can start to reconnect to our breath. Finding some gentle movement of the hands and feet. You can wiggle, circle, turn the head side to side. You can enjoy a big, long morning stretch with arms up overhead. And perhaps we rock over onto one side on our way up, just pausing. Or eventually climbing our way up back to that seat. So we can close out with a final moment, gesture of gratitude, hands to heart center. Congratulations for making it through, for taking this time to take care of you. And I'm wishing you a blessed and pleasant rest of your day. Namaste. Amazing work. Thanks, guys.